Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. I have so much to share with you this week that I'm going to keep it short and not go too deep into some of the markers and the parameters that are bringing us the energy that we're playing with this week. And stay tuned because I will most likely somewhere at least Monday or Tuesday do a special update just to keep you aligned and current with some of the bigger shifts and changes that are happening. I want to give you just the bottom line first and foremost, because I think sometimes as we go through these cycles, if we don't know what they're about and how they're impacting us and ultimately the purpose of these cycles and when they're going to end, when we go through these kinds of intense cycles like the ones that we've been in kind of all year, but certainly sort of in an escalated, very uncomfortable way in the last couple of weeks, if you don't know what these cycles are about, it's really easy to kind of feel like you're being victimized or tortured by the planets or the universe. And I promise you, we have not been victimized and tortured, even though, for those of you living in the United States, it sure as heck might feel that way. So, we've had a year-long cycle that has been ultimately challenging us to really get clear about what do we want and what do we want to be creating. And for us to get the answer to those questions, sometimes we've had to take what I would call the back door to getting the answer to those questions. And that back door sometimes means throwing into our face and our reality everything that we don't want so that we can go, okay, wait, no, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. Because it's that experience of what you don't want that helps us get clear sometimes about what it is that we do want. And really getting clarity has been the theme of the year. Getting clarity, and not only getting clarity, but getting clarity and going, okay, I get where point B is in my creative cycle. I know where I'm headed. Hitting up against those places where you don't know the steps from point A to point B and learning how to make adjustments in your perspectives, in your consciousness, in your understandings of meaning, in your awareness, cleaning up anything that's keeping you attached to the how or the why or the is this real, keeping yourself out of your own assessment of the process and getting comfortable with releasing the desires and the intentions to the quantum field, the universe, to God, whatever you want to call it, letting it go and letting the answers that you're seeking show up for you outside of yourselves. Truth is, our brains have a very finite capacity. Our brains are a great way to translate our inspirations into concrete experiences and meanings. But our brains are very finite and limited, and yet we come from and exist within a quantum field of infinite possibilities. If we want to create, especially when we create something we don't know how to create, we have to learn to let go. And that's the lesson the planets have been bringing us this year. What do you want? What's keeping you attached to understandings that may or may not be true or real? What's keeping you attached to meanings that might be keeping you from having what you want? What's keeping you from allowing yourself to let go and release and allowing something bigger than what you can figure out with your brain to show up in your reality? We've been playing with our training wheels in our creative process, and we are getting ready to move into a very different experience with our unique creative capacity as humans. We have a creative capacity. We have a design like no other creature on this planet. And with that design, we have the capacity to co-create very deliberately and consciously with the quantum field, which I believe personally we are the few of the species, if not the only species on this planet who has the ability to do that. But to do that takes training, and the planets have been training us to really learn to create correctly. And so it has felt like this giant disorder, okay, especially the last couple weeks. In this last couple weeks, we've had a lot of tension. We've had this tense energy that is about to shift next Tuesday. Pluto moves from the gate 38, which is fighting, into the 54, which is light enlightenment. So all of this tension is getting ready to ease up. Not next week quite, but soon. Next week you might feel a little bit of lightning, but there's still a little bit of heaviness with it. But we've had certainly more tension in the last couple of weeks, a lot more truth shifting and a lot more truth kind of bubbling up to the surface, a lot more things we've had to deal with, a lot more shocking, unexpected events, totally. That unexpected, shocking kind of truth stuff that's been bubbling up, that eases up a little bit. We are getting clear about what we don't want at this point in time. In fact, some of you may be really clear about what you don't want. So now we're really looking at what do we want, and we are being nicely positioned by the planets to experience what in the Eastern philosophy sometimes they call samadhi or enlightenment or epiphany, or that aha moment where you go, oh, I get it. Things are about to all the pieces are about to all come into place, and we're going to see the whole picture of the puzzle. And we're moving towards, just to give you a little hope, we're really moving towards, starting in the second week of November, a deep alignment with what's truth and what's integrity, and a realignment, a recalibration back in a direction that is really more sustainable and holistic and inclusive and peaceful. So if you felt like there's a lot of tension lately, you're not the only one. And I promise you it's going to get better. We have really one more week of just really dodgy energy next week. And then we can start going, okay, let's breathe, let's heal, let's look at what has bubbled up and what do we need to realign. So that's kind of where we're at. So that's what the whole theme of the year has been. We're getting ready to enter into a brand new cycle. And that brand new cycle now says, we're going to give you the answers you've been looking for. We're going to give you some of the steps you've been looking for. We're going to invite you to go, the planets are saying this, we're going to invite you to go deeper now into the actual mastery of the steps necessary to bring your vision, your dreams, your ambitions, your desires into fulfillment. So we're moving into a cycle starting next Tuesday with this movement of Pluto, a cycle of expansion and listening, and a drive that now becomes more towards integrity and sustainability, a drive that's about trusting in divine timing and seeing evidence that divine timing is unfolding bit by bit by bit, and that we don't have to freak out or panic or think we're going down the tubes, that this is the end of the world as we know it. It is in a way, but not in a bad way. It's just all this stuff has been bubbling up for us to get clarity. We have clarity now. We're coming back together into a place of enlightened awareness. We are getting ready to move together towards the manifestation of dreams, and that's really what's up. So how do we ground this? How do you make this really practical for yourself this week? This week is a really good time for you to take stock of, what do you value? What's really important in your life? What are the things in your life that are worth fighting for? This is what Pluto's been teaching us. What's really worth fighting for? What are you driven to bring forth into the world? What are your dreams? What inklings do you have about how you might want to make those dreams come true? How comfortable are you? How much do you trust faith? Okay. Do you understand the why behind some of your more painful experiences? Do you see now in hindsight, especially coming up in the end of the cycle, do you see now in hindsight the blessings and the gifts for some of the things that have happened that perhaps have been out of your control or perhaps been unexpected? Do you find, are you seeing the blessings, catalog those blessings, celebrate the fact that there was a purpose behind every tumultuous upheaval you've been through this year? And really ask yourself, and just ask, you don't have the answer, but just give yourself permission this weekend to ask, what's next? What else is possible? Where am I headed? What do I need to do to create? What are the possibilities? Ask questions of the universe about what the next step is. And then, because that 54 energy that comes in on Tuesday is all about trusting in the unfolding of the divine timing, stay attuned to the timing. Do what you need to do to stay aligned with your own inner listening, with your own intuition, whether that's meditation, breathing, walking, swimming, engaging in beauty of some kind, whether that's outside or an art museum or creating in some way. Stay out of the mind and stay present to the beingness of your heart and the unfolding of the beauty, and see what answers show up. they're about to show up in a very powerful way. Things are going to get a lot lighter. We've got one more week of kind of duking it out, and then you're going to start to see things kind of snap back into a new place. They're not going to snap into place, but snap back into a new place of alignment. And we're going to come back with a much deeper understanding of what does it take to be sustainable? What do we need to do to really co-create together in a more sustainable and peaceful way? Have a great week.